Hey everyone, what's up? This is Dr. Charlie PT. Hope you are doing well. Just got done with a morning walk here and wanted to share some thoughts. So wanted to bring up an old quote here. All right, I'm probably going to butcher the quote. I think it was by Abraham Lincoln, but it went something like this. All right, if I had 8 hours to cut down a tree, I would spend the first 6 sharpening my axe. All right, and this is useful. Okay, so most people, right, they have 8 hours to cut down a tree. You give them an axe, they're going to start cutting right away. Right, they're going to start whacking away at this tree, hoping that it works, right? Meaning eventually they cut down the tree and they accomplish their goal, all right? If you are watching this, then you might be doing the same, right? If you're in pain, I help people all around the world with back, butt, sciatica problems, so I see it happen every single day. The number one question is not, Charlie, what can I learn? How can I sharpen my axe? It's how can I swing at the tree? What exercises can I do right now to relieve my pain? And so they want to take this tool of an exercise or movement and they want to use it as a weapon to start cutting down the tree, all right, trying to get closer to their goal of pain relief. And so I get it. It's easy when you're in pain to want to get out of pain. So you're in this place of desperation maybe, feeling frustrated, feeling like, man, I'm really trying hard to resolve this, but I'm just not getting where I want. If that's you, then you might want to think about it this way, all right? So let's apply this quote to pain relief, all right? So if I had 8 hours to cut down a tree, I would spend the first 6 hours sharpening the axe. Again, most people want to start right away by doing exercise by swinging the axe. But what if the blade is dull? Well, it's not going to work all that well, all right? So what if the blade is dull? Well, you're going to be swinging a lot. You're going to get really tired and really fatigued. And maybe if you're in pain, you feel burnt out. You feel exhausted because nothing's working. You feel exhausted financially because you're trying lots of stuff and you feel like you're wasting lots of money. You feel exhausted physically because, well, you're doing the exercises like they told you and you're doing them not just once a day, but twice a day or 3 times a day because you'll do whatever it takes to get better. You're probably feeling exhausted mentally and emotionally because the harder you try to fix something and the less the results occur, well, the more frustrated you become, so on and so forth. All right, and so I get it. I see it happen every single day. We do not start inside of the program by swinging the axe. We start by sharpening the blade, sharpening the saw, sharpening the axe. And it just makes sense, right? If you have a sharp axe, you're going to be more efficient with that, which you're trying, right? With the treatments and or every swing, every rep that you put into trying to accomplish something, you're going to be more efficient with it. All right, hopefully this makes sense so far. So the question becomes is, what do you mean, Charlie, by sharpening your axe? Like, okay, get out of this analogy and apply this to pain relief. Well, I think really what I mean is that instead of starting with exercise, the thing, right, the doing, the act of, learn, then do. Learn, do, teach. All right, so what do I mean by this? I used to do lots of fixing, right? So I used to crack lots of necks, crack lots of backs, all that good stuff. And it was like great in the moment. I was good at fixing people. Well, people like you are really bad at fixing themselves. All right. So it's one thing if you live with someone, maybe like myself, or someone who, specializes in this area of back, butt, sciatica problems, right, and teaches people. But chances are, if you're watching this, you don't. And that's why you maybe are trying to figure out what you need to do. And so if you don't understand why you're doing an exercise or why you should be doing it or how to know what you should do or you shouldn't do or how to know what things are going to make you worse, how to know, had a guy ask me yesterday, like, I just don't know, like, I'm doing PT exercise and I feel some pain. Is that good? Is it not good? Right? And so really what you're wanting to seek out, in my experience, of course, is you're looking to find someone who focuses less on fixing you and more on teaching you. The goal for me, right, is to no longer fix people. It's to give people the skill set, the knowledge, the tools, the understanding, and the support required to resolve their pain. I know, for example, that if you know how to optimize your healing environment mentally and physically, you know how to do detective work, you know how to think like I think, you know how to measure and track progress weekly. So this way you're not just guessing about, should I add an exercise? Should I not add an exercise? Should I do this? Should I keep going? What do I do next? If you know how to determine immediately in the moment if an exercise is going to work or not work or make you worse, if you have that decision-making logic, again, if I were to take what's in my brain and plug it into you, then do you think you'd feel more or less confident in solving your problem? And if you're watching this and you do know that I'm a specialist in this area, even if you don't, right, you probably think I have some maybe authority or knowing about what I'm doing, all right? And so the idea is, yeah, you'd probably say, hey, that would be cool, right? But if you're constantly relying on someone to tell you what to do versus show you and help you understand why you're doing it, principles first versus tactics. I mean, anybody can give you a sheet of exercise. Heck, you can go find them on YouTube. Piriformis syndrome exercises, sciatica exercises, back pain, disc problems, whatever. Go find them. They're not going to apply to you per se. All right? They're kind of just generic things. But how do you know if it makes sense for you? And so this is really what you want to seek out. You really ideally want to seek out, again, this is in my experience, someone who's willing to share with you the way that they think and the way that they arrive at decisions. So this way, right, in the middle of the night, when you're on vacation or when you're not somewhere, right, where you can have access to go down to the chiropractor's office and run to them to help you out, you know what you need to do, and you're not relying upon that person to fix you. All right? And so lots of people, they rely on others to fix them. They go down the street to the chiro, to the PT, to the massage therapist. Works really well in the moment, but guess what? You're not going to know what to do to be self-sustainable, and that's ultimately the goal, especially for people in pain, all right? Now, imagine, kind of just, let's go back for a second. Let's just imagine that your math teacher, right, or maybe you as a parent, always did your child's homework, right? Or your math teacher always gave you the answers on the test. If someone's always doing your homework for you and they're just telling you the answers instead of showing you how to arrive at a certain conclusion, how to go through the process or the steps, first, outer, inner, last, foil. I still remember that process. Right? You could give me something in parentheses and I'd say, all right, the first thing I need to do, right, is outer and then inner and then last, right? And okay, I don't remember it all, but the idea is that there was a process there, all right? And you lean on that process to go back to say, okay, I get the process, I think I know how to apply it, and based off of that, I need to do X, Y, and Z. Not, okay, well, here's this math problem, here's the answer. Woohoo, you're going to get an A on the test when you're there in class, or when you hand in your homework if you cheat off someone. But then when you're out in the real world and someone's asking you to do some basic math, maybe you are looking to give some change when you get your first job at a convenience store, right? Or, maybe you're trying to calculate return on some investment, right? You're not going to know how to do it. And again, felt really good in the moment. Temporary relief, temporary fix when someone solved the problem for you. But if you don't know how to solve the problem on your own, you're going to be stuck. All right, and again, this is coming from a lot of experience working with folks, so I really like to give people the tools, knowledge, understanding, and support to begin solving their problems, become their own best healers. You don't need a PhD in this. You just need to understand a process, all right? And that kind of brings my second point. I mean, you can have so you can sharpen the axe as far as studying, right, what you need to do and what you need to understand so you're not relying upon other people, and then you can start swinging away. But if you're swinging away randomly without like any logic and or any kind of clear pattern, right? You're just swinging at one part of the tree, you go to the next part of the tree, you go to the next part of the tree, you go to the next part. You're going to have a lot of cuts in that tree, right? But you're going to fail to really cut down or accomplish anything, all right? And so when I was growing up, I watched like this lumberjack competition, all right? And you can see that they very clearly have a process cutting down the tree. All right, very clearly have a process. They're not randomly swinging. They go to this side, to this side, to this side, to this side, right? Really cool stuff. And at the end of the day, what it allows them to do is be very efficient with what they're doing, all right? And so one thing I want to challenge you on, all right, is ask yourself not only like how sharp is the axe, but how are you swinging the axe, right? Are you doing a bunch of random sheets of exercises, hoping that they work, swinging at different parts of the tree, right? Are you going and getting massage to your neck, your back, your knee, your hip, your butt, your leg, right? Are they just jumping around all over the place? Are they cracking your neck and then your back and then your hip and they're doing this and one day they're trying to rotate the pelvis this way and the next day they're pulling it that way? And are they changing things up every single time they treat you? And or have they thrown a bunch of variables at you? Because if so, then your axe is going to be very dull and you're going to have a hard time getting the results. Why is it very dull? Well, number one, they're not teaching you. You're relying upon them. They're just telling you, right? Or they're doing it to you. So you don't really know what to do to yourself, right? And then there's no process. because there's no process. You're taking random swings at the tree. All right. Hope this was useful. If you are in pain, ask yourself, how can I sharpen the axe? How can I find someone who's willing to set aside the time to listen to my story and teach me what I need to do so that I don't have to rely on someone else outside of me to fix my body? Works really well if you're a car. You just drop your car off, right? You let it go. You get a loaner. Woohoo! They call you up. Hey, pick it up, Charlie. Great. It's done. But when it's your body, when it's your own vehicle, and when it's your health, I have found it best to give people what they need to improve it. All right. This is Dr. Charlie. Hope this was useful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're wondering a little bit more about how we help people, right? You might be wondering, well, what is the process? How do you teach people? How is it possible? This is a virtual thing. This internet stuff is weird, right? Go ahead, check out the free workshop I've posted above. I'll put a little link to it where I kind of share some tips, tricks, and just a different way of thinking about how you can resolve your problem. All right. Go ahead. You can click for that, register, show up, and we'll deliver everything that we just promised. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments.